everyone, and welcome to another episode of Waffling On. I'm joined here today by Claire and Dan. We're going to take a little look at UBW's Bonfire and Ice show, and then take a look ahead to Deck the Halls at Square One, which is just a few short days away. Bonfire and Ice kicked off with a match between El Jantonio and Jackson Hart. So we had El Jantonio come out to Tequila against the Hero Killer, or the Asesino de Heroes, in case you're from Biggleswade, Mexico, like El Jantonio. But here we have it. We have a man who was described by some of the people in the front row as having the biggest pants they'd seen in wrestling, versus a man who has a crown, the verbal diarrhea, I think, the short king himself, Jackson Hart. But he's out to be the hero killer. Did he continue?
He did though, didn't he? Slayed another hero. I think everyone gets behind El Jantonio, don't they? He just brings the energy. He's great fun. Some of the moves he pulled off in that match were fantastic. I think the aerial display that we got from him was another level, but just taken out by the very short king. Yeah,
I think there was a promise of a 619 at one point from Jackson, and then El Jantonio pleased the audience by actually delivering what Jackson wouldn't, stamped on his foot as well, which I thought was quite nice. Sadly, he also got that same foot right in his face, which I think is what laid him low at the end, after he'd had a rope to the groin area as well. But no, a high flyer, and making his UBW main roster debut, I think.
Yeah, it was really good first showing for him. It didn't look like it was his debut. He looked like he'd been in there. He was just a natural in there. Unfortunately for him, he's in with a guy who's just running through literally everyone in the company at the moment. Jackson just goes, and we've said it every time so far, Jackson just goes from strength to strength. There's no one you wouldn't back him against at the moment, I think.
No, and I mean, he doesn't seem to be looking to make any friends, or does he? But more on that later on. I mean, he's at it again. He's verbally abusing everyone, mainly the audience to begin with. He's going after his opponent. He's laid him low. And after the bell, Nick holds his hand high, and we think, great, there we go. That's over. At least everything's over El Jantonio. But no, Jackson wants some more of this. He's back in. But someone steps in as the hero killer met his match.
That's my favourite part of the entire show.
Who stepped in to save the luchador?
Nick the ref.
Strong ref Nick.
Strong ref Nick. I think he's just seen too much of this over the last couple of months. I mean, we've had, obviously, Leo's been put to the sword. Spice has been put to the sword twice. I think Sai's fallen to the hero killer. Who else have we had? Who else has he put to the sword? We've got El Jantonio is now added to that list as well. And there are more people to come. But maybe Nick is the man to put a stop not only to shenanigans post-match, but shenanigans full stop. Could we be looking at the hero killer?
Let's hope so.
Fingers crossed. So, just as a recap for anyone who's keeping note of the predictions, sadly all three of us thought that Jackson would come out on top. And there were times when maybe they didn't look to play spectacular splashes, etc., coming in. The crowd was certainly behind our Mexican friend. But no, it was 1 point for everyone on the scoreboard. Jackson wins. The killing spree continues.
The UBW Women's Championship was on the line next, as champion Ronnie Knocks made the first defence of the title against Aluna Blue. There were no shiny shoes for Aluna, I'm afraid. There wasn't a shiny belt, though. Ronnie brought it to the ring, and it was action from start to finish.
Yeah, I think Aluna stepped in straight away, looking for the early win, revenge, because obviously it was a rematch for the semi-final, I think, for the tournament, which Ronnie actually won, as far as I'm concerned, with shenanigans by holding the rope outside the ref.
Yeah.
So it was overdue in terms of another chance for Aluna, but she wanted to make quick work of it. But Ronnie's a grinder; she's not getting caught out that quickly.
No, and it's that clash of styles we've talked about in the past, isn't it? It's Aluna's all action, flying around the place. You can hear her as much as you can see her. Whereas Ronnie will just grab you and twist you and bend you and do anything really to make you give up.
Yeah, and I think in terms of this match as well, the high flyer that Aluna was grounded pretty early, and Ronnie set about just imposing that on her throughout the entire match, really. And there was a chorus at one point of Ronnie sucks. And I think Ronnie then tried to convince that Ronnie rocks. I think sucks came out on top. Well, she's the first defence. I don't think there's a single person supporting her in that crowd. I don't think she cares, but
no, she's more at home when the crowd are booing her. I think seems to want to get him on side, but he doesn't bother for it too long. And then a nasty looking submission move, and Aluna's given up, and the champion retains.
Yeah, it's a first successful defence for Ronnie, and sadly, I guess the one thing we know from the two young ladies going up against each other before is that Ronnie knows Aluna's game, and Aluna played straight into her hands again. Yeah. Submission after submission, and then I don't even know what kind of torture rack that is, but she didn't even have hands to tap with. They were twisted almost out of her socket. So the bell rings, Ronnie is as gracious as ever, and storms out.
Yeah, and who next? Well, I mean, we discussed a few options last time. We got everything wrong, so we wait to see. Hopefully, somebody can come in, give Ronnie a good match, take that belt off her, and we move on. Yeah, I think maybe we need someone who can play Ronnie her own game. Do we know anyone who's great with submission and can pick the lock of any move anyone puts on? I'll just put that out there. Maybe we'll see someone step in soon that's going to play her own game. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. The third match on the card saw Josh Spicer face off against Bart O'Connor in a match that I predicted would be an absolute walkover for Bart. And we'll find out later if I was right. But this was the professional wrestler against the Spice Boy. And one guy was focused, another guy came in with the crowd on his side, as always. But I've always been going about how big Bart is and how he's just going to run through everyone. But Josh is probably just as broad now. I mean, this is the new Spicer. He's really, don't know what spice he's taken, but it's really bigged up those shoulders. And he was raring to go. He gave as good as he got to begin with. But Bart, I think, just is an unstoppable force and an immovable object all in one, and was running through him permanently. So there's me, sitting back, happy that I called this one true. Yeah. But that's not how it turned out in the end. The lesser known bulky Spice, there was always going to be a way back into it for him. But I would say again, he impresses me every time I see him. I think he's a fantastic character. He's got the skills to match. But it wasn't enough this time against a man who's not been on the greatest run, but it's nice to see him roaring back into this match. Yeah, but there's a massive caveat to this. There's a massive caveat. Before we get to that, though, we've been told earlier in the show by Chase Anthony that please be aware that wrestlers do sometimes spill out of the ring. So be cautious about what you're seeing. And anyone who's seen Bart of late knows that he doesn't keep things inside the ring, although he can smash everyone hither and yon. Sometimes he does some crazy things. And at one point, he'd thrown Spicer out of the ring into the audience and then just told everyone to get out of the way. So we did.
Yep, absolutely. Got up, moved. I've seen that man do a suicide dive, and I did not want that landing in my lap. Sitting, eating my cake, and I get up and move, and then he doesn't do it. He comes out anyway, and what is only just then a verbal onslaught about health and safety rules. Who knew he was so health and safety conscious?
Move! Health and safety, sit down!
Well, certainly he seems to really care for the audience far more than he cares for his opponents. So thanks, Bart, for being so conscientious in that regard. But please pick your battles, because you may have picked on the wrong person in this case. But yeah, Bart was there. He was back in the ring. Safety first, except for Mr. Spicer. So he's smashing him all over the place. I think he took him on a tour of Ireland. I think face first into the mat. And now he's got him up high. It looks like things are going to go my way. Prediction, for Hicksy, I've got this right. But someone else appeared to ruin my day and Bart's.
Yeah. The Black Crown. Well, members of the Black Crown making the point. The Short King returned, the triumphant women's champion alongside him.
Yeah, a new member as far as I'm aware of the Black Crown.
Yeah, developments. And as I predicted, shenanigans. But things going on in the background. I will go Spice of Ice shenanigans.
Yes, so Bart is about to score the win, but the Black Crown come into the ring and they interfere. Set about Bart, so Spicer gets the opportunity to take the win. And Spicer's there been offered the shirt again. He's offered the place in the Black Crown. What does he do?
Throws it right back at him. Yeah, I think that was a no. And then what we can only describe as an almost perfect super kick right to the face. So throwing his moves right back at him there. Very impressive on Josh Spicer right there. So yeah, I think the Black Crown got their answer.
Yeah, so it looks like Josh has said it's a resounding no from Josh to the Black Crown. And then Ronnie thinks, I'll tell you what, if you're not going to join us, I'm going to absolutely break you. And she tries to tear his arms out of his socket. And there's a chair shot coming from Jackson. Jackson is just after absolutely everyone, but yet again, no Nick this time, but Bart is back up and running, takes the chair off Jackson, and the Black Crown sidle away. I guess they've got to find some new people to join in their pursuit of this sort of domination, I guess, of UBW. So, do we think there's anyone else they've got their eyes on?
I wouldn't rule it out. They're both on winning streaks. They're at the top of Ronnie's at the top of the tree. Jackson's climbing it higher and higher. I wouldn't rule out something more substantial on its way.
Yeah, we've obviously got Josh King to come back, but there are plenty of people out there that may be willing to take that shirt when Spicer wasn't. But let's see what happens from here. Maybe Spicer needs some backup because I don't think they've had the last bite of that particular Spice Boy.
So first half main event, we had Jakk Sellstrom versus Tommy Kyle. An absolute banger of a match. I thought this one was one of the best of the evening. Very thuddy, lots of thuds.
Yeah, I'm glad that I wasn't on the receiving end of any of those, although I think it basically vibrated the entire arena with every single blow between these two. So your word is thuddy. I think I'm going with relentless. There wasn't a single moment's pause in this one. It was just constant. Word of the day.
It was noisy, wasn't it? We don't see many matches where the strikes sound like that. And I hate to say it, but it was brutal.
Oh, hashtag brutal.
And skipping back a little bit, Jakk Sellstrom's entrance might be one of the most intense things I've ever seen. Out he comes with his Elsa gear on and his crown and his blue eyes, and it's just a terrifying human.
Yeah, I think the very first, before the bell's even gone, it's like, is it safe to look yet? A little bit scary. A lot scary.
Definitely.
And the guy doesn't break. He's just intense and he's staring at everyone.
He's just staring straight into the depths of your soul, to be honest. It's not something we've experienced very often.
No. I mean, the thing is, he's controlling the match and smashing Tommy Cole to the floor and then catching everyone's eye and just staring them out. Brutal. Just brutal. I mean, this was a rematch. I mean, a rematch 5 years in the making. The first one went to the Absolute Maverick, beating the then Jack Stars. And so the guy was looking for revenge and was intent on it.
I think Tommy Kyle stood his own. I think he gave as good as he got for the majority of the match. It could have gone either way. I know I backed Tommy Kyle, and I strongly believed up until the last few moments that he could have taken it as well.
Yeah, and it's so good to see Tommy back in the ring. Like, he's technically one of the best that we have. And yeah, these two are just two fantastic wrestlers. Like the technique, the ability, everything was there. You could put this match on any card, I reckon. It looked fine. And it was just, I found it mesmerising. I couldn't take my eyes off it. I couldn't take my ears off it either because it was so noisy. But I couldn't take my eyes off it. I thought it was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't take my eyes off Jakk mainly because I wanted to make sure that he was looking at other people and not trying to get at me. Jakk finished off Tommy for 1-1. So we're now in the series at 1-1. He was arching Tommy's back in a Boston Crab. And when that didn't do the business, he just inverted his body and just stood on his head like a lion tamer. And that was it. I'm really surprised. I don't know that any mortal man would be broken by that. Most wouldn't be conscious to tap out. And Tommy submitted. And no shame in that because it looked like it would possibly put him on the sidelines for a couple of months again.
Yeah. Like we were saying earlier, like this was main event worthy. It'd be great to see Jakk back. It'd be great to see the trilogy match, but it'd be great to see him taking on other people on the roster as well. Just love to see him back, to be honest. I thought it was fantastic.
No, I think it would be, I wouldn't say welcomed with open arms. I'm not sure there are many people stupid enough to want to face him across the ring, but maybe there are some out there who think they've got the better of the Iceman. Maybe next time Tommy has the afterburners on and goes for it. He didn't let up in this one either, but it was just Jack's day today. Well, rolled on the trilogy match. But maybe warn us beforehand if Jack's going to be there scary again.
Team Ice against Team Fire, a 4-on-4 elimination match. Worthy of any main event spot. We have got Team Fire, the good guys, Harrison Leon, Adonis Payne, Artemis, and Arthur Scurro, against the bad guys, Ben Gedling and Aidan White, aka Progressive Overload, and the Kray City Brawlers, Vinnie, Kray, and Big Wade. Too much to discuss. How do you even begin?
Well, I think you begin at the point when Team Fire come in, and you've got the tag titles up there, you've got the Square One title. Everyone's holding their belts up, but Scurro, he's not got a belt yet. Let's put it that way. He's not had the opportunity yet. So he does have a belt, but his trousers might fall down. He holds it up high, and I hear a small voice, a small squeaky voice, saying, "That's not a real belt." He should know. The guy who says it should know. Aidan White, you're right. That wasn't a real championship belt. Same as the ones you used to have. You and Ben used to wander around with those UBW Square One Young Lions tag team nonsense belts. I've got to clear my throat because it just makes me feel terrible talking about such a shambles. But they're standing there, and no, I think Scurro's got a belt in his future, a proper belt. And I think they look like Team Fire really had the edge. They cleared everyone else out of the ring. Team Ice were looking maybe that they didn't want any of it, but then all of a sudden it's a free-for-all. Everyone's in. Everyone's smashing everyone all over the ring, but then I think that everyone gangs up on the biggest man. I guess the guy who you're going to target as the one who you need to get out of the way, Big Wade.
Absolutely, and I think the crowd were firmly behind Team Fire all the way. You've got everyone's favourites there. You've got everyone's favourite Harrison Leon, everyone's favourite tag team. You've got the Odyssey, and then Arthur Scurro, who's the People's Pirate. Like, what is there not to cheer on? And everyone gave it their all. Absolutely everyone on Team Fire. Like you say, Team Ice, maybe a little reluctant, maybe didn't quite gel as much as they thought they were going to.
Yeah, you've got everyone's least favourite false mare, Billy Kray. He was in, I think, when he first took to the ring, he had 10 elbow drops on him from Adonis, and everyone seemed to want a little piece of the faux mare, because maybe there's a little bit of pent-up anger against this guy. So he was taking a hell of a beating. I think Artemis threw Adonis onto him, Harrison threw Adonis onto him, and then Scurro had a little bit, but Vinnie managed to crawl out the way and get back to his team. And I think that's the point when Wade wades in. But is distracted by Artemis, chases her out of the ring, and manages to collide with the post. So here comes the first elimination. But it's not as simple as that. Wade's outside, and then we have Arthur Scarrow throw himself over to land on him, followed by Harrison Leon coming off a turnbuckle, and the guy scraped his head on the ceiling as he flies out there. And, you know, Adonis, never one to not join in the fun, throws himself into everyone that's out there. And Nick's lost control, but Nick is still counting. Wade's been out for now 9. And does he get back in?
No, I think Artemis was using him as an armchair.
But yeah.
And,
And much to the chagrin of his boss, Wade is out. A guy who I think I might have put up there as being the only real hope that Team Ice had of winning this match. And he's out first. It's 4-on-3. Team Fire have the advantage. So not long after that, I think Adonis is basically suplexing, pole driving. He's throwing everyone else all over the place. But a cheap shot from Ben Gedling, and Adonis is out. Ben Gedling, I mean, come on. Sunglasses indoors. What is wrong with this guy? I mean, I've heard that he's also a PT. And I really don't know what this PT stands for in this case. Any ideas?
No.
No. Potential troublemaker, I think, is as far as it goes. But anyway, we don't have to worry about Ben for very long, because Artemis puts him to the sword, and advantage back to Team Fire. So it's 3-on-2. And who have we got left on Team Ice? You remind me?
Aidan White and Mr. Kray.
Yeah, my two favourites. So I think Scarrow wants a little piece of this. I think Scarrow's got some unfinished business with Vinnie from previous weeks. I know there's been a bit of back and forth, a lot of back and forth between the two. But Scarrow doesn't come off very well. I think he's actually taken a bit of a beating from these guys. And it's pretty much looking like he may well be out, but he manages to get himself back into his corner and gets Harrison in. But also in the ring comes a belt, and blindsided Nick doesn't see the belt shot used to knock Harrison out, and Harrison is put to the sword by Aidan White. And shortly after that, we have Artemis leaving as well. Vinnie Kray with a sly blind tag takes the pin on Artemis as well, and we just left with Arthur Scarrow against no, I'm not even going to say it. The remaining members of Team Ice. But it's the big advantage, right? 2-on-1. Who could lose this from here?
Well, exactly. Who could lose this from it? Well, Team Ice, who could lose it from here? Because they just completely lost it, didn't they, at that point? To people who thought that they should be in the ring simultaneously at the same time, but not at the same time. They just couldn't make up their minds, could they?
No, I think as two good, strong team players as they cast themselves out, these guys couldn't organise a thing. They were just all over the place. Actually, I think I had a note here. Maybe what PT stands for is poor tactician on Aidan White's part. Yeah, maybe that's it. But as one gets in the ring, the other one tags themselves in, obviously looking to take out our fallen hero, laying flat on the mat.
Yep.
But it doesn't work out. We have a guy who's very plucky, and as we've mentioned just now, a future title holder in UBW and far beyond. Arthur Scarrow actually puts both of the remaining members of Team Ice to the sword. Vinnie, after a World's End, that's the first time Vinnie's been... Vinnie has had a 3 count put on him since he lost to El Jantonio back in May. It's a long, long time, mainly through shenanigans, I think I would say.
Yeah.
But now we have a victory for Team Fire, which is, I think, what all three of us predicted.
Yep.
I don't think any of us had an idea that Arthur Scarrow would be the last man standing.
No.
But that's what we've got. That's fantastic. The rest of Team Fire come in, celebrate with the guy.
Yeah.
Lovely to see.
Sign of good things to come.
Absolutely. I must say, I did notice a little bit of frustration from Adonis Payne at some point during the bout when Arthur Scarrow let Vinnie get out of his grip. So we'll see. You know, Adonis doesn't often hold back when he's got a grudge born against someone, but I guess we'll have to wait and see if anything comes of that.
Fingers crossed for that one.
Fingers crossed for that one, indeed. But it's nice to see Team Ice put to the sword. Fond memories. And now, for a word from our sponsor.
There now follows A public service announcement.
Hello, my UBW faithful. For too long we have allowed the actions of a certain UBW Young Lions champion to go unnoticed. For over a year and 6 months we have seen the current so-called mayor of Kray City threaten to bang you and me in the mouth. How long will we allow his actions to be benefited across the people of UBW? How long will we allow him to take advantage of me, you, and every Ash, Arthur, and Adonis that exists within our UBW locker room? I say, too long. For it's with the actions of the previous UBW show where the birth of the petition to minimize Vinnie Kray's verbal threats to bang you in the mouth was created. And you gave us a voice. With the over 50 plus signatures received from the previous UBW show alone, I realized that my actions, my belief that the bang you in the mouth phrase should be minimized, was seen and perceived to be indeed true. And it's for those reasons that I wish to continue this campaign. I used to expand this campaign to the hearts and minds of every single one of you, to a point where I will create a campaign of responsibility towards our current UBW Young Lions champion. No longer will we allow Vinnie Kray to once again harass film crew and fans near ringside. No longer will we allow Vinnie Kray to use bang you in the mouth related catchphrases to in-ring entrances, restricting to match time only, and especially no longer will we allow Big Wade's name to be seen as Big Wade. No, we shall change it to Wade. Because he is not big in the eyes of the people. No, he's not big in the eyes of you and me. He is just another pawn in the spell of Kray City. And that has gone on for way too long. Enough is enough, Vinnie. And I speak for me, I speak for the people. What all we want, it isn't just for you to use the Young Lions champion. It isn't for you to lose this title reign. No. It's for you to shut up. Because my name is Tig, and I approve of this message.
And so to our main event, it's the second defence for the new UBW Heavyweight Champion, Hugo Bloom. And this time he's taking on the headline grabber, Murdoch, whose t-shirt I've been forced to wear tonight because I've been accused of not being particularly impartial when it comes to certain people on this show. So I'm going to be trying to be a little bit more friendly to the headline grabber. And he's complaining that I don't seem familiar enough with him. So I thought I'd come up with a new name for him. I call it a pally name. So I'm going to call him Murd for the remainder of the podcast. I hope that's okay. His dad is significantly richer than my dad. He's the friendly face of phone hacking. He has great merch. Something about tabloid press. Something about gentrification. I hope that's enough. Okay, onto the match itself. My mate Murd, he really is a trier, isn't he? He tries my patience the whole time he's in the ring. Obviously, he's given up quite a lot of size difference to our champion, who looks like he could probably just annihilate him straight away. But Murd knows that Hugo's come back from an injury of late and immediately targets the arm. This guy is a great tactician. Please, someone else say something.
Well, he didn't spend a lot of time in the ring to begin with, did he? He, after his little victory lap of not high-fiving everyone in the crowd, although some people did actually land one on him, that looked devastated when that happened, then he just made his way back out of the ring. He had a little shout at everyone, told them to shut up, wasted everyone's time, got back in the ring, got beaten up a bit, and then climbed back out again.
Yeah, great tactics. And he also has a great idea about how to use the ring, such as removing turnbuckle pads and unsighting the referee so he can deliver low blows. What a good guy this guy is. 5-star, as long as the rating's out of 100. Someone else, please. I can't do this.
Well, the problem is, isn't it, that he's in there against a very strong man who can quite literally press him above his head.
Several times.
Yeah, several times, until the third one when he forgot to catch him and just let Murdoch drop to the mat. Yeah, it's little and large, David against Goliath, but this time David didn't have the tools, did he?
No, David did not have the tools. Apart from himself. I'll edit that bit out later. I can't leave that bit in. Right. I think this one went the way we thought it would. Maybe not quite as it did. I should give Murd some plaudits for the fact that he wasn't just smashed straight away. But he was smashed at the end, and he laid unconscious in the ring. And I think I've got some footage that I might be able to cut in at some point of him being carried away after the match by big Mr. Knight. What a shame. So Murdoch, having not won the last match against Adonis, didn't win this one against Hugo either. Maybe third time lucky when he's back. Sorry, third time lucky when he's back. Yeah.
I had high hopes for Murdoch. I have always liked his style in the past. All right, a little bit shifty here and there, but he's always shown that he's able to hold his own. Didn't feel it so much in this match. Like you say, a lot of shenanigans in terms of running around and not being able to withstand the strength that he was up against.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to say that Hugo's now, he's 2 in. I guess we're not going to see him defend again until the new year. I think he's going to have tougher opponents, maybe not any quite so wily as Murd. But I think we've got the strong man here for a little while yet, as long as that arm holds up. That is my concern, is that the reign may be cut short by an injury. So I don't want to give anyone any ideas, but it looks like that could still be a weak point for the champ at the moment.
Yeah, and who next? If you had to guess, who would you like to see challenge for the UBW Heavyweight Championship?
I know there's a lot of guys out there, and there's a lot of guys within UBW and Square One who've got their eyes on that. But I think there are a lot of guys outside of UBW as well that will be covetous of the big title that Hugo currently holds. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some guys come in from outside who are tearing up the scene, maybe nationally or internationally. But I don't know. I guess there'll be another defence sometime in the new year at the Lava event, but then the winner of the Lava match is probably going to cast their eyes on Hugo for that belt. It's too early to predict who that will be, but any ideas yourself?
I'd love to see somebody like G Money step in, somebody, an absolute character who we know has got everything required in the ring. I'd love to see podcast favourite and personal favourite Simon Quest make the trip with his United belt on his shoulder and challenge for the UBW Gold as well. There's loads of options in there. Up and down the country, there are people that could go up against Hugo and give him a hell of a match. A little bit more than Dave did.
And I think homegrown talent as well. You're looking at someone like Artemis. I'd love to see her take him on. And, you know, he's forever climbing that rope up to find that title. I think Jackson would be a good contender.
He's certainly got the support with the Black Crown. I think that could be, all of those, I think, are legitimate. But I think I'm going to add something in here that I thought Dan was going to say earlier on. I think a certain truth seeker could be back to be a belt seeker if we're talking about someone who's actually tearing up the scene again. Back from injury, or possibly some kind of surgery to put a tracking chip in his jaw. Truman Roswell, I'd love to see him back in. He's got form at Lava matches. I've seen him do some fantastic things there. Let's not discount the return of Truman.
Certainly be a grudge match, wouldn't it?
There's a lot on the line with that one. Absolutely. If we're thinking of someone who may well know where the injured arm is, it could be that man. Anyway, watch this space. 2024 is going to be absolutely epic. So Bonfire Bonfire and Ice is done, and we're looking ahead to deck the halls at Square One on the 9th of December. It's time to get those predictions out, and if we take a look at the table, which I'm loath to do, we'll see that one member of the team is flying high above with his new posh haircut. Look at him go. But I've got a couple of stipulations in this last round of predictions that mean it's all still on the line. So we know 5 clashes are happening at this last show of the year. First up, the Hero Killer is back. I mean, this is almost becoming his show. He's always interfering, if not fighting. This time he's going up against All Chill Charlie, who may not even be aware that he's going up against Jackson. He's so laid back, that man. It'd be great to see him back in the ring. It's been a little while since we've seen him in a UBW or Square One ring, but he's tearing up the scene at the moment. So maybe the Hero Killer maybe killed himself in this match. What do you think?
No, definitely not. I think Jackson is high flying. He's super kicking his way to the top. I'm unfortunately backing Jackson on this one. As great as it will be to see Charlie back, I'm just not convinced he's got what it takes.
No, I'm looking forward to seeing Charlie back. I've seen him recently. He looks in great shape. Just unfortunate for him, he's up against somebody who I would back to, as I said earlier, to beat anyone. And I'll back him again today.
Yeah, I think it's all three of us agreeing that Jackson has got too much in the armoury, as well as too much backing him up. I think he's probably got someone who's going to be there to help him out if things get a bit tricky. So it's looking like another hero to add to the list, sadly, with All Chill on the list. Let's hope we're wrong. No. Speaking of heroes...
Firmly on Team Jackson.
I thought you were Team Truman. Or was it Team Crowley? Pick a side, Dan. Pick a side.
More clubs than Tiger Woods.
Okay. Speaking of picking sides, Crew Breed, Kray City Rollers. Who's it going to be?
I'd love to see Crew Breed win. Two of my favourite people at UBW Square One.
After us.
Obviously.
Okay.
You're my team. I sadly think that there will be shenanigans and that the Kray City Brawlers will likely come out on top. Not what I want to see, but unfortunately what I think we will see.
Yeah, I think they'll be left feeling a little bit seasick at the end. I'd love to see Scurro win. I'd love to see him get his comeuppance over Vinnie. And I do think one day he'll be taking that belt from Vinnie, but too early, too strong. The despicable team of the Kray City Rollers. They'll come out on top this time around.
Okay, I'm just going to timestamp that comment there, because I know you're going to ask me to play that back when Scurro does beat Vinnie Kray there. But I agree. I think I think the Rollers roll over the Breed. I think the planks come out on top of the Pirates in this case, which is a shame. I hope I'm wrong, but I think this is never going to be the end of this battle between Vinnie and our favourite pirate. But yeah, I think we're all in agreement that maybe the connection between Wade and his boss is just that little bit longer in the tooth, and they're not going to play fair. They're never going to play fair. Right. That leaves us with 2 more matches before we look at something epic at the end of the night. Let's save the title match and look at this mystery opponent that Adonis has got coming. I know a lot of names have been thrown out there, but we're still none the wiser as to who it is. I can definitely say one person whose name is thrown out there is not taken to the ring at this point. I don't know who put me forward. I know there are probably quite a few people who would like to see me absolutely annihilated. But my wife's not on Instagram, so that's one person off the list unless she's asked someone to do it for her. But no, the mystery opponent. Interesting. There are a couple of guys already out there. As I've mentioned earlier on, Scurro, maybe. Way back when he first appeared, he said there was some history there, but he's otherwise occupied on the night, so not him. But any clues? Any ideas?
Again, I'd have said Jackson, but again, he's occupied already. I mean, he's one to take down a hero, and Adonis Payne absolutely is our UBW Square One hero, isn't he? So, but no, I'm pretty sure it won't be him.
Imagine the scenes. Adonis is in the ring. Everything goes quiet. Artemis comes out.
Absolutely.
The open challenge is Artemis takes on Adonis Payne. No, I've got no idea. I would love to see those two quiet. But,
yeah, well, let me just say, Artemis wins. Artemis for the win.
I think at that point you just lay down, don't you? Just like pin, go.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I'm not putting that forward as my prediction because I would lose the points. I do think whoever comes in, Adonis can probably turn his hand to defeat them.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a swagger about him. He's got a confidence, and it's born on the back of continuous victories. So even though I don't know who the opponent is, I'm going to put my hand up for an Adonis win.
I don't have a back against Adonis Payne, as you know. So whoever it is, I back Adonis to win this one.
Except for Artemis.
I think experience wins out. I think Adonis Payne's got the history. He's got the knowledge. He's got the skill. I think whoever is thrown at him, he'll take them down.
Yeah. Looks like Dan's going to win this one. There's no differentiation. So we come to, well, I'm not putting this one in as the main event, but this is the one for the belt. This is the title match between Aiden White and Harris. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, no, sorry. Sorry, the brains of the outfit, Ben Gedling, was allowed to fill out the paperwork for Aiden for his title clash against Harrison Leon. So we have Ben Gedling versus Harrison Leon for the belt. Sunglasses and all. But on this occasion, I guess the glitter ball is so shiny and sparkly, maybe sunglasses indoors make sense. For the first time ever. What do we see as the result on this one?
Well, normally you have Harrison who towers above everybody, don't you? I think Ben will give him a run for his money in that respect. They're both very tall, very, very big guys. I don't think there would ever be a situation where I would say that Harrison will lose. I think he is at the top of his game. I think he is very much fueled by all of the love he gets from absolutely everybody. I don't think there's a single person out there that doesn't love Harrison Leon and wants to see him win. So I'm putting all of my baller money that I've accrued, which apparently won't pay off my mortgage.
And how we've tried.
And I'm putting it all on Harrison.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Seeing the wrong member of Progressive Overload in there. Oh. And I'm used to seeing Ben's face bouncing off the mat, to be honest. But he's got skills. He knows what he's doing. He's been training hard at the gym for muscles and idiots and brains and muscles and.
Yeah, I don't know, the Aggressive Academy or whatever we're calling it these days.
Yeah, but like Claire said, I wouldn't go back against Harrison Leon at any point at this stage. He's just got, if anything, he's got better since he added the glitter.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Harrison for the win.
All right, I'm backing Ben Gedling to get smashed by Harrison Leon because there's no way this guy is ready to take on the baller. It's just going to be an embarrassment, I think. I think the brains of the outfit, Pinky in the brain, I think we're going to find out that maybe he should have stepped aside and let Aiden get the whooping instead. There you go. Again, all in agreement, Harrison for the win.
And so the main event is becoming a bit of a tradition. It's the Square One Rumble to determine a new number one contender to the belt that will be held by either Harrison Leon or Ben Gedling.
So Harrison Leon.
Harrison Leon,
Harrison
yeah.
Leon, okay, yeah.
We've got some confirmed names.
Yeah.
What have we got so far?
I think, who have we seen? We've seen that Vinnie and Wade are going to be in the match. The non-brains of the outfit of Progressive Overload, Aiden White, is in there. Uncle Otto is in there. We've got Big Marcus Knight, Max Gaines, and we've got some old hands as well. We've got Sunset Skips heading in. Tommy Kyle's in there as well. And I think there are more to be announced. I'm trying to think of any. Oh, maybe Freddie Idol Freddie Idol's up there as well. And just to say, the last time this match was held, the winner was Harrison Leon. So there's precedent that this really does position you quite well with the opportunity to go out and take the belt. Any thoughts on who else might be in there? Or any wish list? Who would you want to see go out and get a chance at the Square One belt?
I'd love to see Arthur Scarrow be part of it. I think he's certainly getting to the stage where a belt is in his future. So whether that be, like you say, taking on Mr. Kray and finally putting him in his place and taking that one, or the Square One Championship, I think he would equally measure for either of those.
Wish list thoughts?
I think Triple H has beat us to it, because CM Punk would have been all right in Stevenage, wouldn't it? But spoiled it at Survivor Series. I know somebody else who's been in a Square One Rumble before. I don't know if he's busy. Might be a spectacular entrant. I'd love to see the British Bulldog, but there's problems with that. I don't know. Who else? Who'd you like to see?
Me? Well, it's that time of year, isn't it? You know, that time of year when everyone gets a little bit festive. It's a time of giving, time of sharing, and that jolly man with the beard comes along and keeps everyone happy. Throwing sausage rolls into the crowd from his farm foods bag. Jimbo. Please let Jimbo come back. I'd love to see Jimbo be the first two-time Square One champion. I think he's got it in him, but he's probably distracted elsewhere at the moment. He's probably got some gig wearing a red costume and asking kids what they want before just giving them some pastry goods, most likely. But, yeah, I'd love to see Jimbo. But I do think maybe we're going to see a new face at some point in the near future. I know someone by the name of Neurotoxin's been lurking in the background and is making their presence known. I think they could make a real statement by coming out and laying down the challenge as number one contenders straight off. Pardon me. I mean, let's put it this way as well. Ben Gedling's probably going to turn up as well. Freshly defeated, he's probably going to turn up having thought that he's Aidan White again. And certainly with all the birds spinning around his head where he's been knocked silly. He'll probably turn up. And I guess if he wins, does Aidan then get to take his spot? In that case, we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves. We said who we want to be in. Who do we think might actually win? Who do we think is going to triumph on this one? And just a stipulation here to make this interesting. If you predict the winner, it's 5 points towards the predictometer.
This is ridiculous.
Look, if you get the guy who comes second, you get 4 points. So if you say it's ridiculous. If you win this, you're not going to think it's ridiculous.
Waffling on with the rules. Ridiculous. Anyway,
you've got to go first, otherwise you just need to say the same as me.
And my prediction to win is BC Knight. I think we need somebody challenging for the belt who can stand up to Harrison, who could lift Harrison, and I won't want to try and throw him out of the ring. So I think BC Knight is going to lift everyone, throw them over the top rope, grab that opportunity, and give Harrison a hell of a run for his money.
I'm going to be really unpopular in the team. I'm going to say I think Aidan White might win.
Sorry, what's that again?
Aidan White might win.
Aidan White might win, but who is going to win?
I'm backing him. I think he's going to be coming off of being a bit fed up of the fact that Ben's nicked his title shot. I think he's going to give it his all.
Yeah, even if he gives it his all, it's not likely to be good enough. And I think you've pointed out Mr. Knight. I think he could throw everyone out all at once, except for maybe one man, and this is the man I'm backing here. I think Big Wade for the win. I think this guy's got some anger in him, having been put in his place by his stupid boss. I think he's got a point to prove. Even if it means throwing his boss out of the Rumble to get that shot, I think there's a guy who can stand up. As you say, Mr. Knight can. I think Big Wade for the win on this one. For me, for my 5 points. I'm only backing you because I want to win, Wade. There's no love there. I think that about rounds out, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. So that's the last show of the year. 2023 has been a spectacular year. It's going to end on an absolute high. We're going to know who the new number one contender is to Harrison Leon. And then we'll be looking ahead to the review show. And after that, it's the year-end awards 2023. We're going to be putting out some categories. We'd like your input on those as well, so watch this space. That's coming soon. But I guess it's time to get ready for Deck the Halls. Stay in the know with the WO.